How's it going, everybody? Welcome to RacerXOnline.com. I am Kris Keefer, and you're looking at our 2022.5 KTM 450 Factory Edition. So, a couple months back, you guys remember, we had an introduction over at Fox Raceway, and with those first ride introductions, sometimes they're all cotton candy and rainbows. Oh, it's better here. We think it's better there. But we really don't know what the bike doesn't do well. So over the course of a couple months, I've been riding the bleep out of this machine, about 30 hours on this thing. So there's certain things that I wanted to improve for myself. So we have some modifications done to this. And these are things that I really think change the way the motorcycle works for the better. We're gaining comfort. We're gaining a little bit better engine character, which we'll talk about, and also less vibration. Those three things are really important to me on this bike because over the couple months that I've been riding this thing, I've come to really enjoy this bike. I got my trusty Lip Pro on. I go back to back with other machines. And although I don't feel faster on this bike at times, my lap times show otherwise. So I'm going to share some mods that you guys can do at home to your factory edition, and the 2023 bikes are actually here. Amazing, right? We're in May, and we're really talking about 2023 motorcycles, but KTM will be introducing their 23 line here pretty soon. We get to go to Redbud and ride them here in a couple weeks, but most of the time, KTM rolls their 2023s in just like this factory edition right here. There's basically probably minimal changes to the 23, even though I don't know what they are yet, but if you're in the market for a 23 KTM 450, these mods will work for you as well. So we're going to go out and ride. We're going to get some video. Just, you want to see me ride. If I look stupid, you can comment in the YouTube comments. I'm sure you're going to talk trash. That's fine. I'm getting older. My style's getting probably pretty lame. I look at my kid. He looks cool. I don't look that cool anymore, which bums me out. But I'm going to try to look my best out here for the video. And then when I get back, we're going to talk about what I've done and why you guys should actually look into it as well for your new bike. So stay tuned. Be right back. All right, guys, just came off the track. I've been riding this thing for a little while, so we got some video, got some still pictures. But so in stock form, after I've ridden this bike a little while, two things pointed out to me really quick. So second and third gear. So now with the 2022.5 KTM being a 1351 gearing, I do feel like even though internally the transmission is different from previous years, second gear was a little short, and then I would shift to third, and then it wouldn't have a lot of recovery. Although had some more mid-range punch for this year, I would say the low end still feels about the same as last year, unless you're in map 2. Then you got good RPM response, but just the pulling power, I just wanted more. And then I wanted a longer second gear, because no matter what, no matter how hard I try to make this bike a third gear lugger, it just simply isn't. So even with the mods I did here today, stretched out second gear and then made third gear even better for pulling power. But to get into corners and third gear lug, it's very difficult for this bike. And the second thing, you guys know where I'm going, the AER fork, although better than previous generations, it's still air. I'm old school, 45 years old. I prefer a spring fork just for that front end feel. So what did I do? Instead of going to a KYB insert or going to Exact Pro cone valves, we went with WP 6500 Exact Pro inserts. So basically all you have is your air fork. You buy these inserts from WP and you slide them in. You give them your weight. They give you the correct spring rate and drop them in. This is how we rode today with that. This is their setting. They've done some testing with their R&D guys here and in Austria to find a good valving stack for your weight and the type of riding that you're doing. And then they coincide that with the spring rate. So I started out with 0.50 Newton millimeter springs, decided to go with 0.49, so split the difference, put a 4.8 in there and a 5.0 and made it a 4.9. So with that, I have more front end traction, I have more comfort, and compared to the cone valve that's available, which is expensive as well, it moves more. The cone valve has a more of a stiffer, deader feel. This is a little bit more action-y, if you can say that word. Has a little bit more action, more movement. It follows the ground better. And the benefit, it uses a mid-valve. It doesn't have cone valve technology. So similar to a KYB fork. So I feel like cheaper, better traction, and a little bit more comfort than the cone valve. So, and you're looking at about $1,500 cheaper, so which is nice. So I did that, happy with that. I think I still need to go a little bit stiffer on the valving, but for a stock valving and you guys out there are just buying the kit, it's very comfortable, easy to ride. I'm 175 pounds, and I can still ride this fairly aggressively. So that is one key thing that I really like that we upgraded to. Another thing is vibration. This bike still has a lot of vibration if you're coming off a Japanese bike. Just simply going to a Pro Taper handlebar. That's easy to do. You get more flex than the stock one and less vibration. So that is key. I don't have as much vibration through my hands. I went with the Husqvarna stock bend. It's flat. It's a little bit lower. I have a tendency to like a little bit lower bar on a KTM, so I do like that. If you guys are wondering, Ride Engineering does sell a bar mount with the spacer kit if you want to bring that up a little bit, which I might do. So new top clamp for KTM in 2025, so they had to go to the new bar mount. And so what we did, +7 on the bar mount, and that brings that up a little bit and gives you a better cockpit feel. All right, another thing that you guys might not know about is chain slack on this 22.5. I've recommended 65 to 70 millimeters of chain slack. Some of you guys are out there going, wow, that's a lot. It's really loose when I'm looking at it. Go to my YouTube channel, YouTube Kris Keefer. There's a way to adjust it. You get a 65 millimeter bolt. That includes the bolt head. So I know some of you guys are wondering, hey, 65 millimeters, that's just the bolt itself without the head. But yeah, 65 millimeter bolt, including head. You stick that underneath your chain slider right here to the bottom of your chain to get that length. But if you move your wheel up and down, the tightest point is in the middle. So you're going to have a little bit of a looser feel statically. And then when you bring that up, it's going to get tighter. So recommended in the book is a little bit tighter, but now KTM's recommending 65 to 70 millimeters. I'm about 67 right now, and that's a good insurance so you don't break your chain or rip your transmission out because your chain's just binding up too tight. All right, moving on to the engine portion. There's a new company out for ECUs. You guys always say, hey, Keefer, Vortex. You're preaching Vortex. So now there's a new company to the motocross market. They're very famous in snowmobiling and go-karting, but AIM, you can call it AIM. There's a Taipan ECU. We put that in there. What makes that separate from a Vortex is you can map per gear. So if I want a little bit longer of a second gear, which I did, you can tune it to that. So I specifically got it tuned from the guys over at AIM for a longer second gear and a longer pulling power of third gear. And oh my gosh, it is a world of difference. You guys, if you watch some of these videos, I can come out of the corner in second and hold that all the way down the straightaway without even having to shift to third. It still keeps that long linear feel like the KTM has, but just gives you more meat, gives you more pulling power in second and third gear. So new to our world, they're going through some growing pains with some ECU tuning. I'm trying to help those guys tune their ECUs a little bit, and right now they've got a good setting for this KTM. Runs clean, runs strong, and man, it really opens up second and third gear and just helps you ride a little bit lazier. We're getting older, you want to ride lazy and faster, you can do that with this ECU. To match that with the ECU, the FMF 4.1, that just broadens everything up from mid to top, gives you more pulling power, and also, which is kind of cool, you leave this insert in, do not take the insert out, and you get more bottom end. So if you like a little bit more excitement, leave that insert in. You can cut that spark arrestor off on the end, stick the insert back in, and that gives you some more back pressure and gives you a little bit more low-end RPM response, so if you like that. So that is key. So with all this being done, the ECU, and the inserts are the most amount of money, but for me, that's still much cheaper than going to a full-blown A-kit fork and then trying to tune your stock ECU, which you can't do because KTM basically locked their boxes for the past couple years. So if you're looking for a little bit of an easier bike, easier KTM to ride, a more comfortable ride, less vibration, these mods are key. Also, keep an eye on your engine mount bolts. Those come loose. Also, the swing arm pivot bolt. So that nut will eventually back out. And KTM, with the Factory Edition, comes with the frame guards. You'll never know. That nut will back out. Your pivot bolt will be loose inside there and screw up your bearings and all of that inside of your swing arm. So what we do is we cut a hole out in our frame guard so you can see that nut. You can tighten it and check it. Easy to do. Keep an eye on your spokes. Again, chain slack. One more thing I didn't add on this is I went to a ZRT aluminum throttle tube. For some reason, I'm not a fan of lock-on grips. I don't like plastic tubes on this model. It gets grainy and hard to pull. Throttle cables on the KTM only last about 20 hours. So going to a ZRT aluminum throttle with the bearing, very easy to pull, almost too easy at times, but you can ask them to make you black cam, gray cam, whatever cam that you like on your throttle, they can make that. That is also insurance in case you crash. But overall, man, I have a great time on this bike. It's fun to do motos with my kid. I feel like I'm a little bit better on this bike. I can move around. It still feels light. So for me, I've been choosing this bike to ride personally on my own time a lot lately. So with these mods, I think you guys will have a good time too. You guys want more information, you can go to Kris@KeeferIncTesting.com. That's my email if you have any questions. You also go to RacerXOnline.com for all the videos that we have out here. And don't forget to subscribe. 12 issues, $30, and you get some sunshades. Sunshades in front of your window. The guy behind the camera, Spencer, he needs that because you don't want your dash cracking here in the stupid heat we get out here in the summertime. So RacerX, 12 issues, $30, good time, stuff that you can't see online. And we'll be back here next week with more videos.